Hey, what's up everyone? Today we're going to be working on throwing mechanics within the 3-step drop, the 5-step drop, and the 5 and a hitch. It's important to understand exactly how your mechanics change from each one of the drops. So you want to still be able to get the most out of your lower body, make sure that you're staying on good balance. And a lot of times what we see is that when people are just standing stationary and just throwing, there's a good progression that happens, but then once there's in a 3-step drop or a 5-step drop, there starts to be a little bit shaky within the mechanics. So you got to work on your mechanics at the 3-step drop, you got to work on your mechanics at the 5-step drop and the 5 and the hitch, just to make sure that everything is worked out. And then make sure that you're throwing to the left as well as to the right. Don't only get one-sided on that. So today we're going to go over some drills to help you out to make sure you're working on the right things and focusing on the right things when doing the drops. Enjoy.
Okay, so here's going to be a 3-step drop and really the top of the 3-step drop. I have two different angles here, so this one's going to be on the left. Big thing, it's a similar type of situation here when you're going to the left, where it's really going to be important to keep those hips facing as open as you can. You can see how when I'm going back, I really try to keep both my hips facing straight ahead, and I'm really trying to open up my shoulders a little bit to make it so then it'll be easier for my body to actually move that way. But you can see, so here I have everything straight, and then right away I want to try to, once I get that crossover step of that second step, now I'm going to start opening up my shoulders a little bit more. Really, I'd want to have my eyes over here, but I'm just focused on what I'm doing here. But you'd want to have your eyes over to the left. You get that second step down, and this cone is about at 5 yards here in terms of the depth, so I want to make sure to get to that 5-yard depth. Then I get down with that right foot. And now, same type of thing as with you would get with the 5-step, is now you want to be able to settle down, open up, and make sure that you're able to really drive your weight forward, right? Again, the big thing that ends up happening here when you throw to the left is that people end up having a lot of their weight going that way, and then it's hard for them to be accurate when just going and opening up right away. So you got to be able to make sure you absorb through that right foot or your back foot there. This is obviously me as a right-hander throwing it to the left, and so if you're a left-hander throwing it to the right, it's going to be the same type of technique where, it's going to be they're just opposite ways, right? If you're left-handed, it's going to be when you're throwing it to your right. When you're right-handed, it's going to be when you're throwing it to your left, where you really got to be able to understand the footwork and the body placement in doing that. Here is the top when throwing it to the right, hitting the top of that drop, and then really being able to push off that back leg and get all of your weight to push forward. Right side's going to be a lot easier, right? You can see the difference in when you get to the top here, boom, it's just absorbing and stepping. This should be a lot more natural to us when you're throwing it out to the right side. Now, the only thing would be if I'm throwing some type of slant or something like that, I'd want to take this step to be a little bit more inside, so then I have plenty of room to get my hips around. But right here, I'm lining up more so if I'm throwing like a hitch or some type of out route or something like that, just to show you a large amount of movement that your body has to do when you're throwing it all the way to the outside to the left or all the way to the outside to the right is what the point of the video is to show. But got to make sure to line up the feet and get your body to be in control at the top of the drop. Notice here when I'm landing, I'm getting control through that top of my foot, so now I'm able to actually drive off that back leg and make a good throw. All right, so here is the top of just a 5-step drop, no hitch here, just the straight 5-step. And one of the things that I commonly see when watching videos and seeing people with their 5-step drop is that first step really gets too far across them here. Really what's important is you got to be able to get as much depth as you possibly can. This cone here is about at 7 yards for the actual depths, and you're probably trying to get closer to like 8 yards or so. So you can see first step, you got to get a good solid crossover step here, and then third step. And then notice as you're doing that too, you really want to keep yourself able to look to both sides. So see how my shoulders are square, my hips are square. So now if I'm needing to throw, I could throw to either the left side or the right side. And really this is going to be a throw to the left side, which is going to be a little bit more difficult. So you can see third step again, getting a good amount of distance there. Then for this fourth step is when you first try to settle it down. And then fifth step is really where you got to be able to load. And this is where you turn your foot. So notice how I go here and I turn my foot a little bit. So now I could actually open myself up correctly. So now you can see, that I take this step, and this is where you're here. So you got that fourth step, and now you got to really be able to open those hips up, and you got to stay loaded in that back leg as you're loading the hips up. So then you could really get a nice push off the back leg, get rotation through your hip, and still be able to keep that front shoulder closed as you're rotating and initiating the throw. All right, but there's a lot of times with the footwork that you can mess up this 5-step throw if you just are here not able to balance very well and then be able to take the right step and get your feet to be facing towards the target correctly. So you want to be really stepping a little bit more outside of your actual target when you get all the way across. But a lot of times people will go and take this left foot too far outside, and then they'll end up throwing the ball more across their body and having issues getting the ball to come through and across here. Or they'll end up having the issue where, you know, they're not able to step and open themselves up enough, right? So then their foot ends up here. So now they're closed off and then have to throw again across their body in order to get all the way through. So what ends up happening when you end up throwing across the body, especially when you're going to the left side, is you either blocked yourself off too much or you're opened yourself up too much. So it's one or the other, but still the results are the same, where your upper body then has to compensate, and it's a lot harder to be accurate as you're throwing that throw. Okay, and here's going to be a 5 and a hitch, and most of the same principles apply to both sides here. The hitch obviously makes it so it's a lot easier for you to gather and be a little bit more controlled when you do like that 5-step straight back and then throw to the left and to the right. That's one of the more difficult throws that you have as a quarterback. Once you have a hitch together, that helps you out a lot, but we'll go ahead and do this. It's just going to be to the right. So it's the same type of thing, it's going to be 5 steps. And really with the big thing with these is to be quick and still be able to pick up a good amount of distance. So I could really take a big step here, especially on that 3rd step. So see how this 3rd step, I really reach out to get a lot more depth, because now I have my last 2 to be quick and gather, right? You're going to get a little bit low in the actual gathering. Now you're coming up, popping up in the hitch, and when I'm doing this, I'm not rushing at all. I'm trying to stay pretty controlled, pretty compact here, and then from there you want to be able to push off that back leg. So get some of those same principles. So once you actually hitch, what ends up being the big thing is that you don't want to end up leaning too far forward with your upper body. A lot of times when you get going, really with any of your drops, you could end up getting your upper body going very far forward very early on. So just make sure you're staying nice and compact and relaxed through your upper body and really allowing that lower body to get forward and through during the actual throw. So you can see here a little bit better where I'm at on my 5th step. Boom. Still gathering, right? I'm landing on the inside part of my left foot there, but my feet are pretty close together in the actual landing. Usually, you know, when you do your 5-step drop, you don't get your feet that close. But once you get your hitch, you get a little bit closer, because now you can push off that back leg. You know, you get your feet. You don't touch your feet here. Okay, don't let those feet touch. Don't click your heels, but you want to be able to pop up, get yourself nice and gathered and established, and then boom, get those hips to start rotating through, and get that front arm to stay back as you're rotating through the actual throw. All right, so just to give you a bit of a breakdown of the 3-step drop, the 5-step drop, and the 5 and hitch drop, we will do different types of drills and different type of exercises to help you work these in our actual program, our Throw Further program that we have. We have some links below to sign up for your first 7 days free to get a little bit more understanding of exactly how you can throw the ball further. It's been a very, very successful program so far, but just want to give you guys more knowledge on how you can become a better quarterback overall. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to hear from you, and we'll talk soon.